All right, we're going to start testing solutions to equations. We haven't really looked at equations yet. We've talked about it a little bit so far this year, but we're going to start real basic today and just start testing some solutions. I'm going to read this first part up here. It says equations can be solved using many methods. These include using mental math, using guess and check, solving algebraically, or substituting in values for the variable to see which value makes the equation true. This is what we're going to focus on mostly today. We're just going to be testing out solutions. We're substituting stuff in. Eventually, we're going to be solving them all algebraically, but for now, we're just going to substitute in and check. Right underneath that, it says Bryn wrote the equation 2L plus 2 times 30 equals 360 to represent the length of the enclosure she could build for her new puppy with 360 feet of fencing materials if the width of the enclosure was 30 feet. You might remember from 5th grade that to find the perimeter, I could just do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. That's all she did. And she knows it has to end up equaling 360 feet because that's the total amount of fencing that she has. So it's giving us our equation right here. We don't really know how to solve that yet to figure out what L equals, but number 1 right here says Bryn decided to find the length of the fence by substituting to test possible lengths. Substitute the following values into the equation for L and see if they result in a true statement. So she's basically picking some random numbers here, 100, 200, 150. And we're going to substitute them in and see if we end up equaling 360. Because that's the key to an equation. They have to be equal on both sides. If they're not, then it doesn't work. So we'll start off with A at 100 feet. I'm just going to go in, substitute it exactly how it looks, just like we did with expressions. So 2 times L, which we're checking to see if it's 100, plus 2 times 30, which it already gives us, equals 360. So I know using my order of operations, I need to multiply first. And I get 200 plus 60. And I know that that's going to give me 260. And since 260 and 360 aren't equal, 100 feet does not work. So I'm going to go on to the next one and try that one out. 200 feet, I'm going to do the same thing. 2 times 200 plus 2 times 30 equals 360. And you might already be thinking to yourself, which this is good because you're using some mental math, we already know 2 times 200 is 400. So 400 plus any positive number is not going to result in 360. So there's no way that 200 feet is correct. But we could check it just to be safe. 2 times 200 is 400, plus 2 times 30 is 60, and that's going to give me 460, which also does not work. All right, our last one right here is 150. So I'm going to do 2 times 150 plus 2 times 30 equals 360. 2 times 150 is 300, plus 2 times 30 is 60, and 300 plus 60 equals 360. So that's telling me that if she's going to have a width of 30 feet, the length of the enclosure has to be 150 feet. All right, we're going to get a little bit more practice with this. We're going to use the set of possible solutions to determine the solution to each equation. We only have one right here we're going to do it for. And this is a strategy you can use anytime you have a multiple choice question. So I have 4 options right here I can pick from. And I'm going to substitute in to see which one will work. So I'm going to start with 0. Plug it in there for my variable x. 2 times 0 minus 4. Well, again, if we're using mental math, we know that that's not going to give me 32, because 2 times 0 is 0, minus 4 is negative 4. So 0 is out. I'm going to try 6. 2 times 6 minus 4. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. So that also does not work. 15. 2 times 15 is 30. 30 minus 4 is 26. 15 doesn't work, so obviously we're only left with 18, but we're going to prove our answer. And 2 times 18 is 36. 36 minus 4 equals 32. So that works. And guys, if you want to ever use mental math, that's a good strategy to use. If you look at these numbers up here, and you know that, well, I'm going to have 36 minus 4 to get to 32. Well, if I look at my answer choices, there's only one of those answer choices that's going to end up resulting in 36 right here, and that's 18. But regardless, we could plug them in one at a time and check. All right, our last little part down here is we're going to determine if it's an expression or an equation. Now, this is really simple. Equations, like I've been mentioning, are equal. So if I don't see an equal sign, it's not an equation. So number 9 right there, 6x minus 17, there is no equal sign to be found anywhere, so that has to be an expression. 10, I have 3x plus 9 equals 12. Well, right here, I have an equal sign, so it's an equation. And then my last one right here, x squared plus 4, no equal sign, so it's an expression. All right, that's the basic intro to equations. So we can use substitution to test some solutions and figure out which is the correct answer.